Nuzmuk.
If that wasn't reversed, you would see that it says, Clemson, what a game last night, Stu Banks. We won. I will deny you, Nick Saban. I will deny you, baby.
Oh, that felt good.
Yeah, love of my college and hatred for Nick Saban combined into a beautiful moment. And here's to Hunter Renfro. Here is to Deshaun Watson for one of the gutsiest performances. I mean, what the hell was that first hit? It was a pro wrestling move.
Yep.
The Road Warriors did that to the Moondogs. Anyway, what we're here to talk about is the NFL playoffs divisional round
2017.
And we're clearly not on the same schedule on our notes, so I'm going to let Stu lead off, and then I'm just going to follow up.
Okay, well, I don't know what happened there. So anyway, it's the Seahawks and the Falcons, and it is a bird fight!
Playoff bird fight!
Playoff bird fight. It's a top-flight defense versus a top-flight offense.
Flight. I like what you did with that.
You see what I did there? Matt Ryan's having an MVP-like year, while Freeman and Coleman are basically tearing up the ground. You never know who's going to get the ball, and they're both doing very well with that. Here's the rub. They have a bottom-tier defense. Beasley, Trufant, Wheeler, they really all have to step up here if they're going to make any kind of run here. Defense wins games in the postseason generally, and that favors Seattle. And Seattle found their run game the other night with Thomas Rawls just bursting through and eating dirt and spitting turf out.
Singing R&B songs.
Yeah. And, and that made a difference. Wilson drove the Seahawks to a late win in the first meeting this year between the Falcons and the Snowmen. I don't know why that just came to my head, but it did. I don't love them here.
That Sean Penn movies?
I don't love them here. I'm taking Seattle for the win here because you get the sense that they'll turn it up a notch on defense and win.
All right. Well, I believe we both went 3-4 last week.
We did.
I blew it with the Raiders, and you blew it with the Giants, I think.
I did.
We're going to split on this one right away because I'm taking the Falcons. I get what you're saying. I do like Vic Beasley from
Clemson. Go, you Tigers.
So,
is that a song?
No, it's Clemson. So the Hawks have a win over the Falcons already this season. Weird coincidence that these games have already been played in the regular season, but they don't matter.
Right.
Emergence of players, new game plans, injuries, weather, and just teams on a roll changes all that. Who has the home field now? So you can't look at that early game and go, "Oh, the Seahawks won, they'll win again." The Falcons have developed through the season. Vic Beasley, who you mentioned before, is going to be a big part of this game if the Falcons can jump out to an early lead, and the emotions and the home field, and quite frankly, an offense that's first in points scored, second in yards per game, third in passing yards, fifth in rushing, and an offense that has developed into a more run-oriented thing, Absolutely. As you talked about, with the two men and the baby ball. I just made that one up. I like the consistency that Atlanta showed late in the season. I like that it's repeatable, something that you can count on. Whereas replicatable, I guess, but you can't expect Thomas Rawls to do that each week because he really hasn't done that each week.
True.
I'm not going to be shocked if I'm wrong in this. I'm not going to be shocked if Wilson has a great game. And one other thing that we should talk about last week, they're catching balls one-handed while holding a guy's face mask in the end zone. They're catching balls on their ass. I mean, literally, remember the helmet grab? Now we got, and the butt fumble?
Yeah.
This was like a combination of the helmet grab and the butt fumble. If those two had a baby, it would be the catch that Doug Baldwin made.
It was incredible.
They're like,
There's some highlights this year.
I don't think the ball or his cheek hit the ground. And if it did, only the cheek moved. I was very impressed by what Seattle did, but I think the Falcons have too much firepower. And if they get out to an early lead, Beasley can just pin back those ears and come after them. And we'll see. I mean, Pete Carroll obviously has a lot more success in the playoffs than Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's overall record, I looked this up today, 19-13. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Maybe he'll be outcoached. Maybe Pete Carroll will throw on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, you don't know. But, Martha Quinn almost has as good a record as Dan Quinn. So there's that.
Wow, old DJ note.
Oh.
Anyway, so we're split on the first game. Stu,
All right.
what's your second game?
I have the Texans versus the Patriots. What do you have?
I can do that.
All right, do it.
Okay. So if the Pats win, Bill Belichick's all-time playoff record wins record will go to 24. If Houston pulls off the upset, Bill O'Brien will get his second playoff win. I believe he's 1-1 right now. With Jacoby Brissett, New England shut out Houston early in the season. And I know I said you can't take those games and extrapolate, but I think you can extrapolate that a team that could beat them with their third-string quarterback is probably in pretty good shape when one of the best, if not the best quarterback ever, determined to make another run and potentially get his fifth Super Bowl. A very motivated, at home Tom Brady. So the only way that I see Houston having a chance is on the first play, Jadeveon Clowney breaks through the line, shoots Tom Brady in the head, and eats his liver. So that Tom Brady cannot regenerate like Deadpool and come back out 2 plays later. I honestly think that this is Miami Rob 54 hike. Wanted the lock of the week. Miami Rob, here it is. Oh, and a shout out to Jen from the GAC. She'll know what I mean. Anyway, Houston should just not bother to show up. Give me New England easy.
Don't even worry about going out Saturday night. You're going to miss a turd of a game. I mean, this is going to be over.
Like my Saturday night's going to be better than watching a turd of a game.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm staying home.
I'll probably be watching. No, I probably won't be watching this. Houston was lucky that McGloin wasn't playing because I think the Raiders would have won this game versus Houston had McGloin played. Because Brock Osweiler, you are pathetic. I mean, that is the worst-looking offense I've ever seen.
And a good-looking defense, though.
Yeah, but who cares? You're playing a third stringer starting as Connor Cook. Michigan State, his biggest game was the Turd Bowl.
Yes, big step up in competition.
Yeah,
from last week to this week. No offense, Mr. Cook.
So he had no chance. And I look at this. Houston has no chance against New England. This will be over 10 minutes into the game, and you'll be watching, the Cal Burnett DVD giveaway channel.
Speaking of games that were over 10 minutes into the game, the Pittsburgh Steelers stomped on some beach dolphins in a display of animal cruelty that should have been documented by the people that made Blackfish. I said it.
Ouch.
So Pitt is now on, I believe, an 8-game winning streak. And I would have given them the coaching edge in this, as Mike Tomlin is 7-5 in the playoffs and has won a Super Bowl, and Andy Reid is 10-9, and his Super Bowl was vomited away by Donovan McNabb. But what the hell was Tomlin doing with Bell, Brown in late in the game, and Roethlisberger at the end of a blowout, throwing the ball with Ndamukong Suh, who, no offense, Mr. Suh, you're known for doing some cheap shots.
Not
and this wasn't. Yeah, he's not known for doing much in Miami.
He had a great year.
What's that?
He had a great year.
Oh, did he really?
It was like triple teamed.
Okay.
His stats were great, actually.
Okay. Aside from all that,
walking boot for Ben.
But as of today, Ben was officially out of the boot and saying he's playing, no problems. So the Chiefs, talking about a team that have developed over the year, the loss of, Derek Johnson hurts them badly in this game because he might have been able to help them keep Bell in check. Keep that bell from being rung. Yeah, I did that. They've had some really impressive wins this year. They've developed Travis Kelce into one of the, if not the best tight end in football right now. Tyreek Hill is making cuts, Barry Sanders-like cuts.
Yeah.
If you watch some of his highlights, he gets so low on some of his cuts, and it's like when those motorcycle racers touch them, like they're doing that lean and they touch their knee to the ground, and you're like, well, they're going 1,000 miles an hour and centrifugal force is keeping them up. I swear to God, there was a cut by Hill the other day where I was like, how the hell did he not just topple over? It was amazing. So And a good running game by committee. Lacking perhaps the talent at quarterback, and lacking a big, maybe one piece as a big play wide receiver. I'm actually taking Pitt in the upset here. I think they're once again. I know defense wins championships, but I'm going with offense in this game too. I think they just have too many premier players, and Kansas City, while having a decent secretary.
They have a decent secretary.
They do. She's cute. Decent secondary and some edge rushers. I don't think that they can keep Pittsburgh in check in this game.
The Steelers, as Steve would say, mollywomped the Kansas City Chiefs the last time by like 30 points.
Including Bud Dupree making me go, oh!
So it goes to show you
when he hit more.
It goes to show you what a strong offense can do to the great Googly Mooglies here. Justin Houston will be healthy for Kansas City, and they're going to need a big game on defense. I don't know that they really have it in them either. They really haven't done it consistently. I don't know. KC in the playoffs is not something we say out loud very often, so it's exciting to be there just like the Dolphins. It was great to be in the game. I didn't expect to win. I picked Pittsburgh, so go figure. The Steelers, on the other hand, they're road-tested. They've been in the playoffs often. They've won Super Bowls together. I'm taking the road team here just because they have the better talent overall, as you said before.
Casey in the playoffs, we don't say very often, but Casey in the Sunshine Band, as soon as this thing goes off, we're out there singing it in karaoke. Quick little props to a player who is probably a little underappreciated. James Harrison. Guy's been around for like a century. Mm-hmm. He's out there stripping balls and knocking more senseless. I don't know. You tell me. Is he a Hall of Fame candidate? Because I was talking with my friends watching the game, and I'm saying, I think he might be. Made one of the greatest plays ever in Super Bowl history that nobody seems to remember when he picked off Warner and ran it back at the end of the first half. And
that was like the 95-yard run, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, with Fitzgerald almost knocking him out, but changed the momentum of the game. People forget about that play. Look that play up. That is a great play. Anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
So we're going to finish up with Green Bay at Dallas. Stu, why don't you lead off?
All right. Well,
I need to drink.
Aaron proved me wrong as he lit up the Giants secondary all night long Sunday. His passes were right on target, and he knows how to add seconds in the pocket like nobody else. I was counting up to 8 at points.
Yeah.
Going. And there wasn't a guy near him. He just had 5 more seconds that he chose not to use.
Some of it he did with his feet. Some of it was the Giants' pass rush was just lacking in the second half.
The Cowboys won easily in October against these same Packers, but the team is much different than they were when they first met in October. But still, the Cowboys have the run game that can limit Rodgers' playing time, and that's the only way you're going to limit Rodgers is to keep him on the sideline. And that's the only way they'll have a decent chance of lighting up the Packers. I am taking the team with the better offense and defense overall together. Over offense and defense, better overall. I'm taking the Cowboys to win here at home.
Pack won 7 straight. Aaron Rodgers hotter than a stripper in a microwave oven in July. Dallas has less than a stellar pass rush, less of a pass rush than the Giants were purported to have. And the A-Rod did not did not light up the Giants in the first half. He actually got kind of lit up in the first half. Other than a push-off Hail Mary catch, they were in a lot. They were in a lot of trouble. And had Odell and Shepard caught one of the 2 passes in the end zone in a row, and had the Giants, put up the kind of points they could have in that first half, that's a game they have to be sitting there going, oh, Jesus. Eli played well. He's dropping balls in guys' hands. Tough catches maybe, but catchable touchdowns.
This guy makes one-handed grabs falling down backwards in a snowstorm, and he can't get the one in his hands.
And the Seahawks are doing what we talked about earlier. So you end up kicking instead of kicking field goals instead of kicking extra points. Difference in that game.
Yeah.
Another big difference in this week is Jordy Nelson's ribs went a crack, and that might break the Packers' back. There was some hitting this week, as we saw. with Dupree launching himself, and
Matt Moore getting his head taken off.
was it Collins who got Nelson in the ribs? But I mean,
Yeah, Landon Collins. I would say Landry. I don't know what.
Was it Collins though? I couldn't remember, but
Pretty sure.
yeah, you saw Nelson Winston on the side, and you went, "That's got to be a rib injury," and you don't know how bad it was. I think a lot of people are enamored of the Packers right now, but I don't think they match up well defensively against what Dallas does best, which is just smash you,
Pound.
smash you, just a Zeke attack.
Yeah.
So I'm picking Dallas, even though it burns my tongue to say it. I will also.
Hopefully there's some beer left.
Yes,
Put out that fire.
Put out that fire. I will also say this. Clay Matthews got himself a little signature play there. He strips the ball from Eli, and a Packer and Paul Perkins are standing there like chatting with each other while it's at their feet. And I'm screaming like we're watching the game, and I'm screaming to my friends, why aren't they falling on that ball? And then you see Matthews come around with Eli still chasing like behind him, running exactly like that, I might add.
Watch the replays. It's true.
And you're going, yeah, there was no whistle. Like, how do you make that mistake? How do you not, as a professional football player, go, even if I look silly, I'm going to fall on this damn thing just to make sure.
I always say run it in. No matter what the call is, if you pick up a ball off the ground and it could be a fumble, take it in.
Yeah.
The worst that can happen is you scored.
But more so than take it in, it's on your feet. Bother to pick it the hell up just in case.
Fundamentals, baby. Fundamentals.
Yeah, so my picks are New England, Pittsburgh, Dallas, and the Falcons. The obvious lock pick is New England. I think confidence-wise, I'm second with Dallas, third with Pittsburgh, and finish off with the Falcons-Seattle game being perhaps the biggest toss-up.
Yeah, well, obviously New England's the lock of the year. I like the Steelers better than I do the Cowboys as far as ability to win the game. Cowboys, and then I'm picking the Hawks just because I think they have the better defense, so that's my fourth strongest pick of 4.
All right, so that was Electric Football. We'd like to thank Half Moon Picks. He did a little help with us for another little goofy video that we're going to put up about coaches reacting to the Electric Football show.
The check's in the mail.
Yeah, and it's a real small check, and it's not signed.
It's from Publishers Clearinghouse.
But thanks for the work. People, you should check out the other prognosticators, including Half Moon Picks.
Yep.
Andrew Warren.
The football guru.
Gio knows.
Don't ask me to think now.
Yeah, but please check out if you liked ours. Comments, we love them. Check the like mark. Check the don't like mark. We don't care, but thank you for viewing.
Check the oil dollar gas. Bye bye.